Okay, good morning, everyone. I will start in a minute. Let's hope more people join. Yeah, I hope all of you can see. This was the last slide of Monday's class. So that was a corollary of that earlier theorem, obvious corollary. And if so the previous theorem was that if a Markov chain is irreducible and on a finite state space, then every state is positive recurrent. So this is a easy corollary. We have also seen how the proof is so trivial. So today we will look at the next result, which is sort of in view of our earlier remarks and minor computations which we had done earlier. It is to be expected. So in view of some of the, especially the theorem 2 and the remark preceding that or following that and so on. I mean, theorem 2 of this thing, Markov chain 7, that theorem which used strong law of large numbers, that one. So let pi be a stationary probability distribution for a Markov chain with transition probability matrix P. The state space can be finite or it could be denumerably finite. If X is a transient state or a null recurrent state, those states will be assigned 0 probability under this pi. That is, pi of that singleton X would be 0. Okay. So please note it down if you want to. Right. So if X is a transient state, by the remark I was alluding to in Markov chain 7, we have seen limit n going to infinity of 1 over n times gn zx. So that is equal to 0 for every z, whatever may be the starting point. Remember that g sub n zx is the expected number of visits to state x if the Markov chains start from z during the time interval 1, 2, etc. up to n. So this is 1 over n times this is that the fraction of that expected visits to state x during the first n time points. And that sort of is going to 0 as n goes to infinity. That means that as n increases, the chances of finding the Markov chain in state x is negligible.
Sir, can you go to the previous slide to show the statement of the theorem? Okay. Okay, just wait a minute, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Just wait a minute. Okay, sir, it's fine, sir.
Okay.
You can go on. You can go on. Fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So if x is a transient state, the remark from Markov chain 7 says that starting from any z, as n becomes larger and larger, the chances of finding the Markov chain being in state x becomes negligible. See, you may recall from all your knowledge of probability and especially the things involved in central limit theorem with a little bit of statistics thrown in, this kind of a proportion is a kind of an average for the kind of limiting probability. Okay. And if x is a null recurrent state, by soon after the definition of null recurrent and positive recurrent states, we mentioned two exercises. By exercise 2 in that, the same conclusion you get for any null recurrent state as well, whatever may be the starting point. Note it down if you want. Okay. Now, as pi is a stationary probability distribution, by one of the first exercises we have seen after introducing stationary probability distribution is that if you take p to the power k or p super k and then take sum over z varying over s, pi z p super k zx, that is also pi x. The definition of stationary probability distribution is when this k is taken to be 1. And now we look at summation over z, pi z multiplied with that average 1 over n g sub n zx, and you know that g zn x, I mean sorry, gn zx is summation k going from 1 to n p super k zx. I think that is one of the earlier exercises. I suppose all of you are familiar with that. So you can substitute that. So now you interchange the order of summation, basically. That's allowed because this is only a finite sum. There is no problem. So doing that, you have this one. And this precisely here, we have got it as pi x. So the pi x comes here outside, and what remains is 1. Of course, this is independent of n. The right side is independent of n. Consequently, this is also independent of n. Please note it down if you want. Okay, now you can guess what is going to come. Since these things are independent of n, we will take a limit here. So pi x would be also equal to limit of this expression. So that is what we are doing. So once you do that, we have got this limit is equal to 0 since x is either transient or null recurrent. So this is equal to 0. So here the interchange of limit and the summation is justified because this guy is dominated by 1 and pi is a probability measure. So the domination you apply DCT. It's again a toy application of DCT. Rather, you have to justify it in arriving at this step, and that is where you use DCT. This kind of a thing you cannot do if this were not, pi is not a probability measure, because the function 1 is not summable over a countable set. I mean, rather, yeah. But if you take sum 1 to infinity of 1, that is not finite, right? That's the idea. So this result was sort of expected in view of some of the previous discussions we have had. Please note it down if you want. All right, an immediate corollary. Yeah, Markov chain, so no positive recurrent state means no stationary probability distribution. That's what this corollary says. Okay, note it down. So now let us, again, this is something which is to be expected. Suppose the Markov chain is irreducible and also positive recurrent. So that means every state is positive recurrent. So then that Markov chain has a unique stationary probability distribution. Not only that, you have a formula for that. That pi of x, that stationary probability distribution, is given by pi sub x is equal to 1 over mx. So this is again a result which was sort of expected in view of various things we had seen earlier. Please note it down if you want. Okay. So interchange of order of summation, interchange of summation and limit in part of that proof, following proof, can be justified using results from measure theory. Mainly dominated convergence theorem and so on. Or monotone convergence theorem. So we will take up the proof of uniqueness first. So this refers to that double dagger, since we have that theorem 3 proof here. Yeah, this one. This is the double dagger. So if you have copied it down, you can automatically see it. Yeah. So there we had got this. And as we had even seen earlier, the left side is independent of n. Therefore, the right side has to be independent of n. Okay. So since every state is positive recurrent, in particular, every state is recurrent. So therefore, that theorem 2 of Markov chain 7, where we had used strong law of large numbers, that theorem is applicable, because in that theorem, you may observe that the hypothesis was that state was recurrent. And therefore, by that theorem, appealing to that theorem, we see that limit n going to infinity 1 over n times g sub n zx is 1 over mx for every z. Since it is recurrent, the rho zx is 1 for every z and x. Consequently, pi sub x, so that is limit going to infinity of summation z over x pi z 1 over n times g sub n zx. So that is summation and limit are being interchanged, and summation over z pi z of this limit. So this limit is independent of not only in n and also z. So it is 1 over mx by this. So that comes outside the sum, and pi is a probability distribution. So therefore that adds up to 1. So you have Please note it down. So also interchange of summation and limit is justified again using the measure theory. So what we have proved is if pi is a stationary probability distribution, then it must be given by pi sub x equal to 1 over mx for any x. Okay. So next, we need to prove that the pi given by this formula is actually a stationary probability distribution. So first, I mean, the statement of the theorem, we will, as such as prove it only when the thing is finite, and later on I will indicate what to do when S is not finite. So the reason for this is something like this. This is again I had mentioned earlier. Let us say interchanging the order of summation or these things. If even if this is, since this is dominated by 1, so that one may not be able to use it when you have a countably infinite set here, if you a priori do not know that pi is a probability or a finite measure. Okay, see. So what we now need to prove is that pi given by this is the stationary probability distribution, right? So part of the proof, you also have to show that this recipe gives you a probability distribution on S. That means this guy, sum over S, it is not only that sum converges, it is also equal to 1. Okay. However, you may not be able to do that. If supposing if you know already pi z is finite measure, that it converges, then you can do the interchange and so on. Because the constant function 1 is integrable over a finite measure. So, I mean, integrable with respect to the finite measure. So that is the kind of problem one might encounter when one considers just a countably infinite space and try to imitate the proof. And also certain things now we are able to get as equalities, we may be able to get only as inequalities.
So the corollary is that it is a probability distribution, right? But we need to prove it stationary.
What?
The corollary of the result we proved before is that pi x is equal to 1 by mx is a probability distribution.
No, we have not proved, no, for a general state space and general space. Where have we proved that?
I mean, it's a like a consequence of the result itself, right?
No. Nowhere. So far we have not done it. Right? If we assume that it is pi is a probability measure, then we are getting a lot of results. Whereas now in this part of the proof, you are given the recipe. Actually, the recipe is also dictated by the proof of uniqueness. See, it is like in many cases, when you want to solve a problem, whether it is an algebraic kind of equation or a differential equation, one assumes that a solution exists and then try to see what does it, assuming that if you get some expression, you get something. So that can be then taken as a trial solution and you can try to see that that is a solution. Okay, even the earlier in the thing, we have done such a thing to show that existence and uniqueness. For a particular example, we have done that. And when you do that kind of a trial, what gives you is basically the proof of uniqueness. If there is a solution, it has to be this. And then we prove that it is actually the required object. So here the formula for the stationary probability distribution is given here. By the proof of uniqueness, we have arrived at it. And in this case, in proving this, we are assuming that pi is a stationary probability distribution, which includes the assumption that it is a probability distribution. Okay. So when you come to the point, or rather the aspect of the proof that this pi given by this is actually a stationary probability distribution, it involves two things. One has to show that this recipe gives you a probability distribution and then show that the requirement for stationary probability distribution holds. I mean, is the point clear?
Yes.
Okay. So we will consider the case when S is a finite subspace, state space, and proceed with the thing. And then later on, as a remark, I shall indicate what one needs to do further to take care of the case when S is not necessarily finite. Okay. Now recall the definition of M sub x. That is expectation of Tx given that x0 equal to x. And T sub x, that is hitting time of the state, by definition is greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, probability that hitting time T sub x greater than or equal to 1 is 1. Or at least it is strictly positive. 1 is strictly greater than 0. And that is what we need to conclude that the expectation is strictly positive. That is, this mx cannot be 0. And also, since x is positive recurrent by our hypothesis, that it is an irreducible positive recurrent Markov chain, we get, by definition of positive recurrence, m sub x is less than infinity. Consequently, that pi sub x given by this is well defined. It is mx is not 0, so this is fine, greater than this thing, and it is also finite. Please note it down. Okay. Yeah. So now by the corollary, which is on pages 9 and 10 of Markov chains, using that, we will verify the next. Please note it down because that is a long sequence of equations. I mean, actually, the last sentence should have been at the beginning of, that should have been the top line of the next slide, but to accommodate it, that thing, I have pushed it to the preceding slide. Okay. Yeah. So summation of pi x, which where x is varying over s is a finite set. It is this because of by formula for pi x. And since every x is recurrent, we have got that 1 over mx is limit of this guy. And interchanging limit and the summation is all right because this is a finite set. And gnzx, we know, is summation k going from 1 to n, p super k zx. Now you interchange these two summations. There is no problem at all because both are finite. And here, when you do that, look here, of course, k is fixed, this z is fixed, and this is summation over x of this. So therefore, this is equal to, this sum is equal to 1. Of course, the reason for that is that P super K is a stochastic matrix. So you have summation over pi x of pi x over z, the x varying over s is equal to 1. So therefore, pi is a probability distribution on S. And as we had mentioned before, since S is a finite set, all interchanges of limit and summation and order of summation, etc., are justified. There is no problem. So I shall stop here for the day and we continue with the proof the next class. So note it down if you want
Class on
to.
Friday.
Huh?
Will there be class on Friday?
I don't mind taking, but what is your opinion?
Sir,
Huh?
sir, I think since we have an exam on Saturday, if you can give us a one day holiday before the exam, it would be great.
Okay, so if that is the kind of general sentiment, I don't mind. See, the only thing I was, okay, I mean, let me not speculate. Okay, sorry, okay. So Friday we will not have class.
Okay.
So what would be the last day of this course?
Last day of this course is, since we are taking classes thrice a week, I would like to conclude certainly by second week of December.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so by second week of December, the course is finished.
Course is finished, and the whatever. Let us see how we proceed. Okay. And
Okay.
see, the thing is, in these days, it is predicting anything is going to be perhaps rather precarious. So hopefully, we will be able to.
Okay, so will you get some time before the end term just for preparation?
Of course, you will get.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
And I also came to know recently that those of you who have come to CMI during this weekend, maybe may have to stay there only for 6 weeks. In other words, some people may have to get back or rather leave CMI campus and go home or something like that, isn't it? Is it true?
No, sir. Nothing of that sort was told to us.
Is it?
So, I mean, people who are staying for 6 weeks from September. So, few of them left home, few of them are staying here.
No.
We are staying for like 8 weeks till December, end of December.
Because yesterday or day before, when I was talking to someone, they said that as a trial thing, they are going to allow people to stay, students to stay only for 6 weeks at a time. I mean, at least during this semester. So I was given the impression that those who came during this weekend, last weekend rather, may have to, I don't know. So what is the correct information? So if that 6 weeks would end on the third week of December. Okay. So anyway, I don't know. But the exam are supposed to be from 24th to 31st or something like that. That is the designated exam period. Right?
Means you mean 24th to 31st of December, right?
Yeah, that is the I mean, I think it has been notified as this thing for
Yes,
the,
yes. I think it has been also mentioned in the CMI site, CMI website.
Yeah. So, so we will try to, just a second. There seems to be some knock at the door. I'll come in a minute. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So that was the impression I got. I don't know how far that is true. So anyway, so to play it safe, I would like to finish by the second week of December, or maybe spill over just a day or so more.
Okay, so there will be no class this Friday, right?
This class, let us say, since you want it that way, let it be like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Since some of you are coming are regular people, so okay, if that is the
Okay.
fine. Friday we will not meet, and I mean, if I had anticipated, I would have included a couple of more slides more. But the reason is for proving that it is a stationary distribution. There is a long sequence of equations like this, but it is slightly longer. So I was sort of at a loss to what step to sacrifice to make it fit into one slide. Of course, in the notes, you will find the entire thing. So that I have to figure out. Probably stop at one place and then in the next slide, continue from there with another equation and so. Okay. So some such editing problem, minor editing. Whereas if it is a usual A4 PDF file, one can go on, or even if it involves 10 such steps. Okay. If it doesn't fit into one page, it will go to the next page beginning and then fill.
So that do you make the slides in Beamer?
Yeah. First, I prepare the thing, the usual what I put up on the Moodle. No. First,
Okay.
that is, I prepare, and from that, I can this thing to Beamer, which requires certain amount of editing. For example, in the other thing, I could have included both these things in one line. Generally, I don't like to do that in a Beamer when it is for exposition purposes. That would look awkward. So such minor, and also many places such that etc. I would have fully typed. Maybe that also I can avoid typing even the other thing. But anyway, those are the kind of changes. And some extra information may also be there, but that is very rare. Odd this thing, remarks and things like that here and there.
Okay, so the next class is on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so have a safe break. Since Friday is a break, and have a safe weekend, and also good luck for your exam. I hope you are all in receipt of some of the emails concerning the exam I have been sending. Yesterday, I think I sent one, and day before or something one. Concerning portions again, because that is for the benefit of those who are not attending the classes regularly, giving the portions. And yesterday's thing is concerning, I am also giving an email address so that you can gives, if you are having problem with Moodle, I think there is a limitation on size when you want to upload. So when you handwrite your handwritten thing, when you convert it to scan and then take PDF, usually I am told the size exceeds that limit. And consequently, I have also created a new email account last year. And that thing, Gmail account rather, and through that you can send. And also see to it, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's your responsibility to see to it that these things are uploaded or sent properly by email. Okay. And you have about half an hour extra for the submission, and the things will close by 1 p.m. on Saturday. That is what one planning. Okay, unless you want me to go back to any of the slides, I will stop here, stop the session, and stay safe and good luck. Okay, I shall end the session.